Howdy, y'all. It's Curious Raven on this Wednesday. I hope y'all had a good weekend. And today we're going to have some haunted house stories. Story 1. I just want to say this entity, or whatever you call it, does not seem harmful. I know that nobody has all the answers, and most of what you see on those ghost shows, like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, are completely bullshit. I also believe some may have more educated insight on the matter. I will just tell my story and let you be the judge. I want to say that I always keep an open but skeptical mind. It took many occurrences to get to this point. I, my wife, and my cat moved into this apartment about 18 months ago. In that time frame, little things kept happening that I would just brush off to me being tired. Now, the activity does not happen all the time. Sometimes nothing happens for weeks. Other times, thing happens for days at a time, just to give you some memorable things that have happened. Also, for some reason, these occurrences are happening more frequently. More things seem to happen to me and only happen to my wife very seldom. My 2 kittens also reacted to it as well. When it is around, at times, I get this intense feeling. It's like a chill that runs through my body, but different. I could only imagine it feeling like energy, sitting at my computer and feeling a strong rub against my leg. I was sure it was my cat at the time. When I reached down, there was nothing there. My only cat at the time sound asleep on the other side of the room, and there was nobody else in the apartment. I also get the sensation of my hair being lightly touched at times. My wife woke up freaking out, swearing that something was touching her. Normally, that would be me, but I was in the living room with our only cat. It only happened once, but freaked her out. I have seen what looks like a small black flame floating in the air on multiple occasions, mostly in broad daylight and just totally random. I have this thing recorded on my phone. My buddies suggest I should ask it questions. Last month, it was around 1 a.m. I usually stay up late, and randomly that feeling came on. I decided to whip out my phone and ask it some questions. I asked it if it was here, and I heard a voice that's hard to make out, but it says, "I'm here," and mumbles something else. It was much deeper than mine and kind of gave me an old man vibe. Yes, I still have that recording. This was in the combination of my kitties acting in a way I have never seen before or since. They were freaked out, and one even hissed at her brother. Boy slinked around the wall and was on edge. I have had them for 4 months and never seen them that freaked out. This all happened within a 10-minute time span. Just tonight, by accident, I got a crazy intense orb on camera. I have a nanny cam to keep an eye on my crazy 2 kittens while I'm at work. I had all the lights off in the room, just the back TV light to test the IR feature. I seen it once and decided to try to record it. It happened again. I got a big bright orb coming out of nowhere, and it was really bright considering almost all the lights in the room were off. Yes, I have that on camera. If you were in my shoes, what would you do? It's in the apartment building that goes back to the at least 60s. Many people could have come and gone at that time. Any suggestions? I also want to say that I feel foolish typing this out and sounds insane. I probably would think it's bullshit if I was not living it. I am just seeking some decent advice on how to find answers on what this thing is, and should I be worried about it? Number 2. I've never experienced anything like this in my life, but I feel this was enough to shape my interpretation of the world from a young age. I was visiting a great aunt with my family, as we did twice a year, set off at 7 a.m., drove 2 hours, then leave at 4 p.m. We never stayed over even though she had an extra bedrooms, and was lovely, so I always thought it was weird. We also were never allowed upstairs. In about 15 visits, I only went once more after the first time. My memory is of me at 6 playing with the younger brother in the lounge. Then I was upstairs in the doorway of my auntie's bedroom. She was in the room, stood next to her dresser. She was acting strange. The vibe was off. She asked if I'd like to come over to her jewelry box and choose a piece. My spider sense was going bananas. I was a very smart kid. I pretended to walk towards her and then turned and ran to my parents in the room below, which is the kitchen. When I got there, I was shocked to see my auntie chopping vegetables. I looked towards the outside door, wondering if there was some stairs or a fireman's pole. How the hell did she get down so fast? I asked her, and she virally blanked me. My parents laughed and said, "Don't be silly, go and play with your brother." I was fuming and confused, so I just went and played. My mom went upstairs with my aunt a few years later to get something she had been given. I followed them up and started staring in every room looking for this woman. I was told sharply by my mom to go back downstairs as she could see my aunt getting anxious. Then, another year later, it was still playing on my mind. I would have been maybe 10. I asked my grandmother, my auntie's non-identical twin, whether she had another twin that's identical to auntie. I assumed there was some other reason why they hid this other aunt, or it was a ghost. I could not recall her response. I have a feeling she said it was a twin that died, but then again, I can't recall that either. I really want to ask my mom, but don't want to seem as weird. I have since learnt a doppelganger ghost. They assume my identities. Anyway, that was cathartic. If anyone reads this, thanks for reading. If someone knows, maybe that will help me come to terms. Number 3. Thought I would post this and see what people think on here. First off, I don't have a strong opinion of paranormal activity, but do think this stuff happens, and it seems it can come in a lot of different ways. I moved into a rental home that's about 6 years old. Right when I moved in, I noticed a few things. Lights flickering, master bedroom is always cold, and maybe stuff being moved. But I have kids part-time, and I didn't give it much thought at all. I also felt the need to sleep with my bathroom light on and have every night since I have been in this house. I have never done that in 30 years. About 2 weeks ago at 2:30 p.m., I was home alone. I was folding laundry at the bottom of my bed. I just pulled all the bedding up, so I had a place to fold the clothes. I have a heavy top blanket, and the top right corner was folded over. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the heavy blanket roll over and fall down the side of the mattress. Still asking myself, did I really just see that? The chills that instantly hit me were very powerful. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds and then said out loud, "If you want me to know you're here, make a noise." And about 10 seconds later, a metallic noise came from my closet. I had just set a pair of old spurs on the shelf. I have not met any of my neighbors yet, but went outside and the lady across the street was out, so I asked her if anything ever happened in the house. She said she didn't know anything. Knocked on another door and no answer. 20 minutes later, the neighbor that I knocked on came over and I asked him. He said, no, nothing has happened to his knowledge, but the original owners had 12 kids. Then he pulls out his phone and shows me a video of an orb on his computer screen and his computer being manipulated with his hands not touching it. This happened to happen at the exact time as my experience. I then reached out to the previous tenant and asked if they were experienced anything. She instantly responds yes. She says the husband and sister-in-law notice stuff all the time. She said they would hear footsteps at night, and she thinks she saw it twice. Once running from the family room into the master, and once standing in the doorway of the master and thinks it's a child. So it's been about 2 weeks, and I still get power chills, especially when I walk into the master all the time. I noticed some scratches on me getting out of the shower once and possible doors being closed that I always keep open, but it's all very small stuff it seems. I'm not scared, but it definitely has my attention. Don't want to move unless it becomes aggressive in some way. What am I dealing with? Am I nuts? If this is some ghost or whatever, does it need me to do something? Number 4. Hey, so everything's happened in the last 2 months, I'd say. Door bangs. This one probably could be explained, but I felt like it was worthy of being mentioned. I can be sitting playing video games and all of a sudden I hear a huge bang on my door and I brushed it off as a breeze until it happened again and again. It's the only room it's ever happened in, so a breeze could really be the reason, so just wanting to hear people's opinions. Random door openings and knockings. Felt like splitting this since I don't want it to be too long to read. So, my bedroom door, it'll sound like someone's knocking on it at random times, and I'll open it to find no one there, even when it sounds like nails tapping on the door, which I can't explain. The door openings mostly happen downstairs. I'll have a door fully shut, and it'll open suddenly, and this can go on for a while, almost as if it's showing me the door to leave. Feeling of being watched. This can happen at all times of the night. I'm usually up until like 3:30 a.m. What usually happens is I get hungry and I walk out my door and I feel like I'm being watched by a really angry guy. This one really sticks out to me for some reason because I've been in rooms and it feels like a sweet old granny is in the room, and in other rooms I feel like it's an angry guy watching me. Feel like he usually stands at the end of the hallway and just stares at me really angrily until I go back into a room. I've actually woken up to what I think was a guy standing watching me sleep, but everyone claimed no one was in my room. But my eyes could have just been playing tricks on me. Phantom smells. For some reason, I'll just be walking around at home at 2 a.m., and since no one is up, I shouldn't smell perfume or cigarette smoke, but it'll be in like a cloud. It's not like it stinks out the whole room, but it's like just floating around. And I've tried searching for a cause, but I can't find anything. Perfumes usually smell like a granny's perfume, and the other one smells like cigarette smoke. Random voices. I can be sitting playing video games, and I'll hear someone say something in my ear, and I'll turn around and no one's there. Although I have not heard anything while playing video games recently, however, around 40 minutes ago, I was walking downstairs and heard someone say, "He's coming," right beside my ear, and to my absolute zero surprise, no one was there or downstairs. Since I was halfway down the stairs, I could always be hearing stuff. The stair incident is the first so far. I've never been to a psychic medium to tell me anything about any ghost, so I'm just curious what people could say to cause, since I can't say I'm extremely convinced I've got a ghost or a few ghosts kicking around the place. Any opinions, explanations, or questions, let me know. Huge thanks to anyone who replies. Number 5. Yesterday, I was coming home from a long day at work. I was walking up to my house, and from where I was standing, I could see into the second floor window, which is the window to my room. As I looked into the window, I saw a woman lean down and start looking through my drawers. She looked a bit off, but the sky was bright blue, so I assumed it was just the sky making her look weird. She kind of looked like my sister, so I opened the front door and asked my parents what my sister was doing in my room. And she said she's not home. So then I asked my mom whether she was in my room. She said, "I just made tea for your dad. I've been down here the whole time." Of course, they mocked the idea, but I know what I saw. I know where I live is haunted by ghosts because it's over 500 years old, and I've seen several ghosts around, such as the top hat man who watched me sleep the first month I moved in. Can anyone explain what I saw or tell me anything about ghosts? Because this has me shaken. All right, y'all, that is the end of the stories. I hope y'all like this little collection. I love y'all so much. I will see y'all on Thursday. But until then, remember, it's scary out there. Please like and subscribe.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross